Something that will always annoy me about white psychologists, white researchers, white sociologists, whenever they come out to talk about Black issues, right? They talk about poverty. They want to come and talk about Black youth and suicide, right? They pick cities like Chicago, where there is the stigma. There is I would like to think, a regional awareness of the dangers of Chicago and South Chicago. And they try to take these cities and make it seem like this one place there's poverty, there is segregation, when the reality is that every American city where Black people live, there is segregation. There is a lack of resources. It doesn't matter where you go. So the fact that they will take a city like Chicago, and they always do, right? The Obama Foundation, like everybody looks at Chicago like this is the only place where there is crime and there is poverty and Black people are just living segregated amongst, whatever. And it's like, no. That's literally every city in America. Everywhere you go, if you want to find Black people, you're going to find them in segregated communities in the hood where there is very little resources. And it's not just Chicago where there's a lack of resources to education. There's a lack of resources to health and food and all those different things. Like, bro, it's it's every city. It doesn't matter where you go. It's every state. It's every city. Wherever Black people are, there's a lack of resources. And this is probably one of the things that frustrates me about white people dibbling and dabbling into poverty for clickbait, for their research, just to have something to say, just to be able to dig into the ground, you know what I mean? I don't want to say the groundbreaking research because it's not groundbreaking, but to just be able to have something to say, to be able to create this work that gets you a Pulitzer Prize or, a New York Times bestseller. It's like, no, babe, that's everywhere. That's everywhere in American society. And the thing that's been bothering me so bad about a lot of white content creators coming out talking about poverty is like, y'all are just playing in this. It does not affect you. And I feel like white people just have a really hard time embracing the simple fact that you will always be doing better than Black people in American society. It is set up for you. We do not need you to advocate on behalf of people who are poor when you've never really had to live that life. White kids come out of college making at least 50K. At least that's your starter pack. At least 50K, 45K, 60K. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, what poverty? Like, I be so confused when I see so many white people online talking about inflation, and it's like, it's all just to be able to create a channel, to be able to have something to say. It's the same thing with white women and their marriages and all this different stuff. Like, y'all don't have half the problems because you guys are not poor. You're not poor. The research shows statistically you are not poor. Your children are not dealing with suicide rates. Your children are not going to schools where they are being bullied. You're not coming up in it. So it's just like, stop trying to jump on the bandwagon. And I think the reason for this is because in American society, right, within the white supremacy, right, white people have preference, right? They have privilege and they have preference. So for a lot of white people who come online, right, we know that the algorithms and AI is literally powered by white people. So it's just like, what happens is y'all narratives get to the forefront, and it's like you're trying to take a plight that's not yours. It's not yours, right? When I look at the people who are buying up all the apartments in the hood and putting people out and giving them evictions, you know who's buying up the properties? White people. Okay, this is not your plight. Like, I really want you guys to really just stand down. And I think the reason why I get so mad is because I just feel like the lack of, I just feel like it's just so much ignorance. And I feel like it's a shame that the people who are actually living it, the people who actually have to endure, the people who actually brought up, who, you know what I mean, are literally systemically placed in underserved communities and have to make their way out of it, are never given the opportunities. Like, why are you the chairman? Why are you the leader? Why are you the researcher? Why are you getting the funding to go out and create the book, to get the, like, why is it you? You know what I mean? So it's just like, you're contributing to the problem. Stop trying to, when all you're doing is causing more harm. That's all you're doing is causing more harm. Like, it's not groundbreaking research. Chicago is not one of the most segregated cities. None of this stuff is true. Every city within every state in America, there is segregation. There is poverty. Where the Black people are, there is poverty. They were systemically, institutionally, and intentionally kept there today. And when we talk about Black youth and we talk about, the sense of helplessness, how can we give them a sense of hope? You know what I mean? How can we? How can we? Right? Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think if you really want to be an advocate, talk about the history. Don't ban the history, for starters, because if you want to give Black kids a sense of hope, It's not a matter of giving funds to more white people for black causes, for the issues within black communities, right? Because what happens is you'll have black leaders, black managers, black supervisors who can't touch the funds, who can't allocate the funds. You still have white people in charge of the funds. So my thing is this: stop posing as an ally when you're not an ally. Because, some of y'all sitting at y'all job right now won't get that black girl, that black man a promotion. Okay, let's talk about it. So I'm sick of it. The internet is fake. Okay, it is not real. It is fake. Okay, it makes you think that this is a perfect world. All these white people jumping on here talking about poverty, inflation, when it ain't. Girl, they making $200,000 a year on a budget. All type of investments, all type of trust funds, all type of life insurance policies, baby. All type of education. We are not in the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. So that's why our youth is suffering, because they actually get the reality, right? A lot of people are online. Y'all delusional. It's giving Delulu. We live in a multicultural, happy world. That's why you have researchers, psychologists, people who have, degrees from Ivy Leagues and prestigious universities coming along and saying that Chicago is one of the most segregated cities. When every city has a hood, baby. Every city has a hood, and that's where the black people are. And nobody has ever thought to wonder why. Because the funds are held up. The funds are in a limbo. The funds never seem to make it. What we just seen, your boy Brett Verve, whatever his name was, Brett, y'all know, the NFL player, literally took money from the Mississippi welfare. Never gave it back. Court date about to expire. Ain't no accountability. So you guys have really got to stand down. Like, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of you guys jumping on the bandwagon and continuously taking opportunity. Like, that's not your league. That's not your league. It's like, that's why you see so many content creators, like, the house is giving plushed. It's giving that because white people really live in that. Like, they're really making that kind of money. It's really going down like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's really that's the vast majority of content creators. You don't see poor white content creators. No. So, yeah, when they showed the statistics that black kids and black youth, suicide rates are increasing, where white kids and white families and white youth, they're decreasing. Yeah, because they're getting richer. All these technological advancements and opportunities, they're getting richer and we're getting poorer. So it's nice to kind of be in Delulu land and to kind of just sit and think like, oh my God, this is a big happy world. Things are getting better. But for who? And because we were so blinded with distractions and with narratives that are pushed by people, we ain't got to get into that because I don't want to sound this is not a conspiracy. We don't realize the facts. We don't realize